Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. This is Mike, and we are getting close to the end of Noirvember, and I wanted to make at least one video about film noir, and I'd like to talk to you about 5 films that are a little bit less well known and may well have slipped out of your radar. Okay, so let's get right to it. The first one is, these are in chronological order by the way, 1947, Fear in the Night. Let's see, this is from a novel by Cornell Woolrich, which was called Nightmare, and directed by Maxwell Shane. The stars of the film are Paul Kelly, veteran actor, and who had been in a lot of crime movies and noir films. DeForest Kelley, no relation, the names are spelled differently. DeForest Kelley, a young actor in his film debut, he had just signed a contract with Paramount. And also Anne Duran and Kay Scott. Okay, so here are the bare bones of the plot, which are right here on the back of the DVD. A meek and mild bank teller, Vince Grayson, played by DeForest Kelley, awakens one morning from a disturbing dream in which he has killed a man, only to find that his dream may well have been real. He has marks on his throat from where the man was choking him. He has blood on his clothes. He has a key in his hand that he remembers in the dream taking out of the man's pocket. Okay, so what really happened? Was he hypnotized? Was he sleepwalking? The suspense never lets up in this film noir original, later remade as Nightmare with Edward G. Robinson and Kevin McCarthy. Okay, and yeah, very good little film. Paul Kelly plays Vince Grayson's brother-in-law, who also happens to be a police detective. So when Vince, and they're very close, they're very good friends, so when Vince needs help to figure out what to do, his brother-in-law is the first one he goes to. And of course, originally, at first, the brother-in-law says, it's just a crazy dream, circumstantial evidence, just put it out of your mind. But things get so weird that his brother-in-law is forced to believe that the guy is telling the truth. Then he thinks that the guy actually did commit the murder. So anyway, now the thing about this movie is totally enjoyable, but the movie begins with a dream, a crazy dream, and the story as it unfolds, it is so fantastical that it's probably better to look at this as a dream within a dream, right? Because the way this works out, it comes to the conclusion. You find yourself thinking, could this ever actually happen in real life? Probably not. But thoroughly enjoyable. And it's good to see a young DeForest Kelley, who doesn't look that much different than he did in Star Trek, really, just a few years younger, right? So anyway, Fear in the Night. Next up from 1948 and Monogram Pictures. This is I Wouldn't Be in Your Shoes. How's that for a title? It sounds like it's going to be part comedy, but it's not. It's a very serious, a very dark story. Once again, from a novel by Cornell Woolrich. This was directed by William Nye. And the stars of the film are Don Castle and Elise Knox. They play a married couple, Tom and Ann Quinn, living in New York, struggling. They are a dance team, and unfortunately they can't find work as a dance team. And she's working in a dance hall where men pay to dance with her, and maybe some extra money to spend a little time with her talking and socializing, which she's not really happy about, but they have to eat. He can't find anything. He's very discouraged. And where the shoes come in, which is strange, one night after they're talking about how bad their situation is, they turn in for the evening, go to bed, and they have the window open in their apartment because it's hot. And there are some cats outside the window snarling and crying. Either they're fighting or they're having a meaningful relationship. And the guy takes his shoes off the floor and throws them out the window to try to get rid of the cats, right? And his wife wakes up and she said, "What did you do? Throw your shoes out the window?" He said, "Yeah, it's okay. They're the old shoes. It doesn't matter." She said, "No, those are your brand new tap shoes. I just bought them. Go down and get them." So he does, and of course he can't find them. Mysteriously enough, the next morning the shoes are found outside their door of their apartment with no explanation at all. So what as it turns out in this crazy plot, there was a murder and robbery committed in the neighborhood. Some reclusive man who had a lot of money in sort of uh, an older currency, an American currency, very distinguished, um, was found to be robbed and killed. So the police actually they have footprints of someone wearing tap shoes, and that's how they trace it back to this man. And he also happens to find a wallet with all of this money outside of his wife's nightclub one night. And wow, thousands of dollars. And so when the police find all this out and all this circumstantial evidence, the guy is convicted of murder. So his wife goes to work and tries to find evidence that will get him free. And very interesting film, and yeah, it has some very dark moments, but very well played. Okay, now next up from 1950. Oh no, this is sorry, chronological order. 1950. This is Try and Get Me. Okay, another crazy title. The alternate title for this film is The Sound of Fury, which is actually a better title, and it has a lot to do with the way things work out at the end. But I won't reveal that to you because it's a very good plot line. Okay, this was directed by Cy Enfield, who ended up being a blacklisted director, and it stars Frank Lovejoy as Howard Tyler, Kathleen Ryan as his wife Judy, Richard Carlson as Gil Stanton, who is a local newspaper reporter whose ethics are not what they should be, and we have Lloyd Bridges as Jerry Slocum, who is a low-down crook, and Catherine Locke and Adele Jerkins. Okay, this is Frank Lovejoy plays this guy who is originally from Boston. He and his wife and their young son have come out to California because they thought that they would find a great life, a lot of work, and all this sort of thing. He can't find anything, so they're also very much in love. She is expecting their second child, and he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's very discouraged. So she's in no way a femme fatale who's trying to, lead him into doing something. However, one day when he just wants to drown his sorrows in a beer, he goes to a local tavern that also has a bowling alley, and he runs into this cheap crook named Jerry Slocum, played by Lloyd Bridges, and he's just gets easily pulled in by this dominant masculine guy who just starts talking very fast and convincing him that, I can help you make a lot of money. You can help me. You can be my driver while I do these small robberies at gas stations, and that's it. We'll split the money. It'll be really easy. And Howard is so desperate, and he's so pulled in by this guy who's sort of the opposite of a femme fatale. He's a male fatale, homme fatale, and he starts getting into a life of crime, which escalates into murder, and his life spirals totally out of control. And the second plot, the subplot in this film, is Richard Carlson, the journalist, who starts writing really vicious, ugly articles about something that happens in this film with Howard and Jerry, and starts riling up the local populace into insane violence. Okay, a very dark film, very bleak, has a very bleak ending, but very well played, I think, especially by Lloyd Bridges. Okay, Lloyd Bridges. All right, Try and Get Me. Okay, getting up to 1951. This is a film called The Big Night, directed by Joseph Losey, another unfortunately troubled blacklisted director. And star of this film is a young actor named John Barrymore Jr., the son of the very famous, legendary John Barrymore, of course. And he was only 19 years old when he made this. It was his fourth film. And also has Preston Foster plays his father. John Barrymore plays a 19-year-old kid. No, actually, he was 19 years old when he made it, but he plays a 17-year-old kid named George LeMaine. And Preston Foster plays his dad, right? His dad is the owner of a bar in New York City, and the kid goes in there, um, one day after school. It happens to be his 17th birthday, and his father is going to throw a nice little party for his son, along with his bartender, who happens to be his housemate, okay, who also sort of like a second father to the kid. The mother has been dead for years, right? He doesn't remember his mother at all. And so all the patrons of the bar, both men and women, they're all singing happy birthday to this kid. There's a birthday cake. And then all of a sudden, someone comes in. A man named Al Judge, who played by Howard St. John, who happens to be a very well-known sports writer that everybody knows his name. They know his appearance and all that. And the guy walks with a cane. He comes into the bar and he tells George's father to come over, take off his shirt, and kneel down. And the guy does it. He's completely passive, doesn't say a word, doesn't argue, and everybody's just dead silence. What is going to happen here? So when the guy kneels down, Al Judge starts beating him with the cane, just beats him almost to death. And he has stripes all over his back. And this kid is watching his father submit to this punishment. He has no idea what's going on. It just completely throws off his sense of who he is and who his father is, and what it means to be a man, what it means to stand up for yourself. And when it's all over, his father won't answer his questions. He won't tell him anything. Neither will the housemate. The guy just says, just let it be. Don't say anything. So this kid, he doesn't know what to do. He borrows some of his dad's clothes so he can look more like an adult, and he steals his father's gun, and he goes out into the night to seek revenge on this sports writer, to find him and kill him. And he goes out to this world of adults, finds out that adults are more confused than kids, and there's a lot of ugliness, a lot of violence, and it's a very dark film. Very well played. John Barrymore Jr. was actually very, very good in this. And so, yeah, I like it. I think you would like it too. Next up, finally, from 1965, I guess this would have to be called a neo-noir, I suppose. This is Brainstorm. Directed by William Conrad, actor, director, producer. He also produced the film, by the way. Stars Jeffrey Hunter, Anne Francis, Dana Andrews, and Vivica Lindfors. Now, Jeffrey Hunter plays a guy named Jim Graham, who is a systems analyst for Benson Industries. And Benson Industries is owned by Court Benson, played by Dana Andrews. And Anne Francis is his very young, beautiful wife. At the beginning of the film, Jim Graham is driving home, and he sees a car stalled right in the middle of a railroad track. So he goes over to see what's going on. The car is locked. He sees Laurie Benson, played by Anne Francis, either passed out or asleep in the passenger side, and he's trying to find a way. Of course, the signal lights go on, the signal bells, and a train is on the way. So he has to find a way to get into this car. He breaks a window and manages to get it off the tracks just in time. So he drives her home, and of course, this is the man he works for, right? And he's never met him before. He has to tell him who he is and what's going on. The woman wakes up, and she's not happy because she wanted to kill herself. She wanted to die. So anyway, it develops that he and this young woman meet again. She's rather aggressive about meeting him, and they fall in love, have an affair, and she wants to leave her husband, who will not let her go with, she can go, but she cannot take their young daughter, and he won't give her a cent, right? So Jeffrey Hunter said, just walk away, go with me tonight. I don't care about the money, just get your kid and we'll leave. And she won't do it. So a lot of things happen. Court Benson is, with all of his money and his power, he starts causing a lot of trouble for Jim Graham at his work and in his personal life. Jim Graham comes up with this insane idea of killing this man himself, but trying to convince people that he is insane so that he will not be convicted of a crime and instead sentenced to a mental home for maybe a short while and then be able to leave and go off with this woman. He is so desperate to possess this woman that he comes up with this idea, and he believes it can work. The psychiatrist who was supposed to treat him was played by Vivica Linfors in a really powerful, controlled performance. One of the best things I've ever seen her do. It's just a crazy movie, and it is probably the darkest and bleakest of all the films that I've talked about here. And Jeffrey Hunter is so good in this, perfectly matched by Anne Francis. So, yeah, Brainstorm. Okay, the most fiendish idea ever conceived by the human brain. Yeah, I agree. So those are my 5 suggestions for the month of Noirvember. So let me know if you've seen any of these films. Maybe you've all seen them and they're not as obscure as I thought they were. So anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Comments are always welcome. Good night.